Day two. Woo! Okay, guys, if you didn't get your emails, I'm going to tell you, email me directly. hello@belladonnarizzo.com. Okay, I just dropped my email in the chat. Hit me up and I will make sure you get everything. And just as a recap, we are dropping everything in the Facebook group. If you go to the Facebook group and you look under files, that's where you're going to see all the downloads. And then we're actually playing around with the idea, you guys, of if, and this is only if there is an interest, right? So I'm going to say, if you're interested, put it in the chat so that we can see if it's worth our time to do this. But what I can do is I can take every single recordings, every single one of the downloads, and I would throw in some awesome freebies too, like maybe 3 or 4 other awesome downloads for you guys. I can put them all in a membership site for you. And, you know, we charge like $9 just to build the site out, run it, make sure that all of you get usernames and passwords. And then all the content would be in there forever and you'd never lose it. So let me know if that's of interest to you guys. If it's not, we won't worry about it. We'll just dump everything in the files and we'll email out replays, right? So woohoo, day 2. Okay. So really quick, before we get started, Ashley said that would be great. Joyce said she's interested. Okay, cool. So we'll take a poll kind of at the end and see if we, yeah, I'm getting a lot of people saying yes, 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 that would be great. Okay, awesome. So we will get to work on that. And I will so make it, you guys, I will make it so radical for you guys. I'll dump so much free shit in there for you. Like I always do. Right.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So that's awesome. Woo. Okay. So what was everybody's biggest, I'd like to just take a couple of minutes. What was everybody's biggest takeaway from yesterday before we dive into day 2 content? And feel free to unmute, put it in the chat.
I like the fact that it kind of went over partnering up with iBuyers versus seeing them as a threat and taking advantage of that great resource.
Yeah, I still feel like the aftershocks of that, because I was so locked into thinking of iBuyers as the enemy. You know what I mean?
Hey, Bella.
Anybody else?
Bella, it's Lori.
Hey, Lori.
Hi, honey.
Hey.
You know what I took away from that was that they have no fiduciary responsibility to the client.
Right.
That is a huge thing that we can point out.
And I was surprised. I had no idea you could get paid by helping clients with iBuyers. I just thought you were out. So that was a big one for me.
Can I just say one thing?
Yes.
Yesterday was so awesome. Like Sue, I was clueless. People say iBuyer. I was like, what is that? Anyway, within 45 minutes, I found out there are big differences among these iBuyer programs. But to save somebody, and I think if you address what the differences are, I mean, briefly, you could probably put it in some kind of format.
Sure.
But one thing that shocked me was Zavvy, Zavvie. They had less than 2 stars. And there were like 93 reviews. So there's wide discrepancies among even these programs.
Right. And so, so as something that everybody could do. And Judy, what's in the Facebook group are all the links from yesterday's training. And so guys, we're going to start tagging them day 1, day 2, day 3. So you can search by day in the Facebook group and find the content. Okay. So one thing that everybody could do is, does everybody here have a listing presentation? Everybody? And it's okay if you don't, right? Not everybody does. There's no shame in it. But could you implement an entire iBuyer section in your listing presentation? Okay. So who here wants to know? And you guys, you're going to go like this. Why didn't I think of that? seriously in this current market. Who here wants to know the most badass system? And if you don't have notes, you guys, I'm still old school, right? I take notes the old fashioned way. Go get your notes right now, like now, because you're going to want to write this down verbatim, word for word. Okay. You want to learn the 3-step formula to sell your home for full price in 5 days or less with minimal showings. And you can say with 2 showings. Okay. Super, super simple. Okay. Now who here, and guys, put it in the chat, or you can just unmute and holler. Okay. Cause I like to keep this really interactive. Who here as a listing agent has always like traditionally likes to list their homes at the end of the week, like on a Thursday or Friday? I was a Friday girl. I always would want my listings on Friday. Who else? Thursday, right? So you could build a little momentum so they could go look at it on the weekend, right?
Thursday.
Yeah, I'm seeing Thursday evening, me, everybody jump in. Wednesday, Terry Pappas, Wednesday, Greg, Wednesday, Judy, Wednesday nights, Mel, Thursday. I was a Thursday, Friday girl, guys, for 17 effing years. Wednesday. I really am trying to swear less. Thursday. The other day said I was trying to swear less, and I told Greg in our office to like punch me in the arm every time I swore, but he was so sweet. He like didn't want to punch me hard. Okay. Jana, Thursday.
Taught him right.
Yeah. Greg's like, I owe you a punch. He does. Okay. Oh, let's let Beverly in. Beverly is like my friend from the 3rd grade from California, where we went to school, and she's now a real estate agent too. It's so awesome. So we can't actually start until Beverly gets in the room. I guess that's the new rule. Okay. So everybody, it seems like everybody on this Zoom, we were all of the same mindset. You list towards the end of the week to what? What's the strategy for listing towards the mid or end of the week?
Catch the weekend buyers.
That's it. It's to drive traffic over the weekend, right?
To push towards an open house as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And so here's the new strategy, you guys. Okay. So there are 3 secrets to this strategy. Secret 1 is scarcity. We're going to make it, I know this sounds counterintuitive. We're going to make it hard for them to see this house. And if that sounds insane, stay with me. Secret number 2 is we are going to create massive competition. As if there wasn't competition enough already, we are going to up the ante on competition for this property. Okay. And secret number 3 is all buyers are given a deadline. Every buyer is given a deadline, as is every buyer's agent. And we're going to communicate that deadline through the MLS. Okay. Through the MLS. Not in the agent remarks, in the public remarks, because we need to make sure that the buyers are aware of the competition. Okay. Because I know a lot of us might put like highest, whatever, do blah, 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 blah down in the agent remarks, right? So that agents are aware, but it's not so obvious to the public. Okay. We're not doing that. All these remarks are going strictly in the public remarks. And let me tell you,
what was number 2? I'm sorry.
Number 2 is competition. We're going to create massive competition.
Thank you.
And so you're so welcome. Okay. So now here's what I do want you to put in your agent remarks, right? Only agents see this, not buyers. You're going to put absolutely no showings outside of the specified times. Ooh.
Okay, I'm going to type that.
That's kind of strong. Is that strong, you guys?
Oh, definitely.
Super strong. And you are not going to use showing time. There's no need. And you're going to find out why next. Okay. So is everybody here curious? Is anybody here like, what the hell? Like, oh, and number 1, Petra was we're going to create scarcity. Okay. So here's what we do next, guys.
Hey, Bella, I'm so sorry. Could you just repeat that last verbiage? There are absolutely no showings outside of what was it?
Of the posted scheduled times.
Thank you.
And then that's going to make more sense here in just a second, you guys. Okay, so now, and then again, no showing time, okay? Because there's no need for showing time with this strategy. Okay, and I'm referring down to my notes, guys, so I don't miss anything for you. Okay, so now we're going to list the home on Monday. All homes get listed on Monday, 100% of the time, no exclusions to this policy, okay? Every home is listed on Monday. And you are going to promote the ever living hell out of this listing. Okay. So if you're doing flyers, if you're doing mailers, if you're doing door knocking, if you're doing Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, oh, you guys are going to have to check out our next challenge for YouTube and video, baby. We are going to rock the house and show you how to get like killer free leads. But I digress. Okay. Now here's one of the ads. Absolutely 100% of you need to run. And I'm going to tell you the stupid, simple, anybody can do it. You don't need to be techie whatsoever. Okay. You're going to do a post and it has to be on your business page because you can't do this from your personal page. You're going to go to your Facebook business page and you're going to create the most gorgeous post for this new listing. And you're not going to just share it from the MLS because that shit is not going to work for this. It's day 2 and I'm already swearing. Okay. So you're going to go into Canva. Okay. And if you guys don't know how to do this, I've already recorded a YouTube video on it. I just have to edit it and post it. Okay. So I promise you, I'll have it up by the end of the week and I'll drop a link in the Facebook group. You're going to go to Canva. And if you don't know what that is, I will drop a link in the Facebook group just to save time because I don't want to waste time like typing a bunch of links in here. So I promise you, you guys, you will get every bit of this information in the group and in today's email. You're going to go to Canva, which is a 100% free platform. Free is my second favorite word after listing. Okay, maybe clear to close. I have a couple of favorite words. Okay, it is a free platform that lets you create dynamite graphics and it's stupid simple to use. So here's the graphic I want you to use, okay? You're going to do a big picture of the front of the house on top, and then it's going to give you 3 squares, or if you're going to do it on Instagram, you'll pick one that's shaped like a square. I cover all this in the video that I'll send you guys. And you're going to put just a couple of pictures of the interior, okay? And then you're going to do a big post, and it's just a post, you guys, on your business page. And you're going to show all of the cool stuff you're going to name out all the stuff in the house, brand new listing, the city, right? The area. And then I want you to use icons in lieu of bullet points. Okay. What's an icon? Those little emojis. I want you to use emojis the same way you'd use bullet points in this post. Okay. So if it's a 5-bedroom house, because it's Utah, 3-bedroom, whatever, you're going to take the emoji of like a bed, and then you're going to write 3 bedrooms. And then the next emoji is an emoji of the bathroom, and you'll put 2 bathrooms. And then the next emoji would be like, if it's got a 2-car garage, put a little emoji of a car and put 2-car garage. If it has a swimming pool, put an emoji of a swimming pool and put like swimming pool, whatever, right? Do you guys, does that make sense, you guys? So you're going to make it real freaking cute. Okay. Then once you've got all your info in there, right? And now, guys, if you don't have a website, you might have to skip this one step. You're going to link it. You're going to put a link to this listing on your freaking website. Okay. At the bottom of this post. And then you're going to post it. Bam, post it. Now, here's what Facebook lets you do. If you guys ever on your business page seen where it says boost this post, you're going to boost the post and you're going to put some money behind it. Not a lot of money, like $20, $20 to $100. Okay. Not much money to spend marketing a listing. You're going to boost that post. It will not spend more than that budget. It'll turn off whatever budget you put in there. It'll stop spending it once it's hit that amount of money. And then here's what you're going to do. Inside of that boost your post, it's going to say, hey, who do you want to target? And you can tell it what area, geographic area you want it to go to. You can say, I want you to send this to people who are interested in real estate. I want you to send this to people who've recently been shopping on Zillow. I want you to send this to people that have recently been on realtor.com. Okay. Like if your head's not like going right now, if you haven't done this already, and you boost that post. Okay. So Jeff is saying, post an image of what I'm talking about. Jeff, I'm not sure what you mean. And for the sake of time, I'm going to go fast. And the reason is I've created a video on how to do this exact thing, and I'll send you guys the link and then you will see it. Because in the video, I do a follow along screenshot as I build everything from scratch for you guys. So you'll totally see how to do this. Okay. So don't worry about that. Katie, I'm saying boost versus an ad because 99% of the agents on this Zoom don't know how to run an ad, but everybody can figure out how to boost a post. And that's why. That's an excellent question. I used to always tell people don't boost posts, but Facebook's gotten really better. That their ability to target boosted posts has gotten so much better. For this, you guys, it will get the job done. And you don't have to go take a course on how to build a Facebook ad, right? Okay. So now you're advertising the ever living hell out of your listing. And I've got 8 minutes before Fred jumps on. So I'm going to go really fast. Okay, guys. You've got a whole week to advertise this listing. Now here's what you do. Okay. So step one, you list on a Monday and you promote the hell out of your listing. Step two, you go into forgive me. This is part of step one. Sorry, part of step one. Now you are going to, in your description on the MLS, in your remarks, you're going to have all the normal remarks that you have in the MLS. And then in big capital letters, I want you to put velvet rope party, like with quotations. Okay. And then you're going to say only 2 showing times allowed for this property. Saturday from noon to 2, Sunday from 2 to 4. No showings allowed outside of these times. And that's it. And guys,
can you repeat that, please?
What was that?
Can you please repeat the drop the rope time?
Yes. So velvet rope party, all showings, must be within these 2 times. Saturday from noon to 2, Sunday from 2 to 4. And if they can't make it during those times, too bad, so sad. Tough. Then you missed out. You missed this house. Okay. So guys, in this market, how many people do you think you're going to have show up on Saturday and Sunday between those 2 times?
Be like a conference center.
You're going to have people queued up in the yard, aren't you? Like waiting to get into the house. And guys, and Noelle asked, if you can run an ad, should you? Noelle, hell yeah. But Noelle, I know you and you're a tech badass. And so for you, you run ads. For everybody else, boost a post. Okay. Don't make it too tough. And then, yes, Nico, this is like open house style, right? So, and here's the thing. They don't come early on Saturday. They don't get in at 10 o'clock. They don't get in at 11:45. They don't get in at 2:15. It's noon to 2 on Saturday. Deal with it. It's 2 to 4 on Sunday. That's it. I don't want to hear your sob story. Yeah. Listing agents, they can't make it. Tough. Then this isn't the house for them. Tough. Tell them to call in sick that day at work. Shit, it's a house. Okay. This matters. Like, get your ass in there. So can you guys see the massive explosive competition that will happen when you do these velvet rope parties, right?
Actually, did one very similar to this, Bella, and we took 48 offers in 12 hours.
Yes. And Sue said, or make offer unseen. Absolutely not. No blind offers. I would not take a blind offer. They have to see that house. Okay. So Sandy, the velvet rope party goes in. The velvet rope, Allison, is an old term from the days of being behind the velvet rope. Only it was like for big blockbuster movies and getting into super high-end nightclubs. And only certain people were allowed around the velvet rope. It's kind of an old term. And so the dun, dun, dun. Yes, Sandy, you'd put it in the agent remarks, but you're going to put it in the public remarks too. The public needs to see this. So buyers know that that's the only time they're getting in, damn it. And you're going to reiterate it in the agent remarks. No showings outside of velvet rope party times, period. Don't ask because the answer is no. Okay. Now, that's why you don't need showing time because the times are published. Now, how much easier is it going to be on your sellers? And I've got 4 minutes before we have to let Fred in. How much easier will it be on your sellers? Instead of having 50 showings a day for 7 days, they just have 4 hours and that's it. They can go like on a hike, come back and it's done, right?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay, so what's the last thing that we do right here? The last thing is step number 3.
What was 2?
Sorry. Let buyers see the property only during velvet rope party times. Sorry, I kind of mushed them together. So step number 2 is only showings are allowed during velvet rope party specified times. And that's it. Step number 3 is you also-
Did you say velvet rope party?
Yeah, velvet rope party.
I think we should all go out and buy the velvet ropes like movies have.
Wouldn't that be cute? That would be darling.
Like a red one with the post and everything.
Yeah, with the brass post. That's so cute.
So this is more like an open house. We are not going through the showing time. We are opening the doors to the public directly.
And agents. And
Yes.
agents.
Yes.
Yes. And so and then everybody will come through only during those 2 hours that are specified per day, right? And only for 2 days. Now, step number 3, and this is published on the MLS where the public sees it. All offers, all highest and best due by Monday at 4. So now we have our deadline. So we've created scarcity by not allowing just total access to the home. We've created competition because we're forcing everybody into the home at the same time and they see each other. And then we're creating a auction. Oh, and then if we can let Kevin in, you guys, and let's have somebody spotlight Kevin really quick. All right, guys. Now, do we ask all agents to come? Yes. And then guys, I will cover this more. Here's what I will do. I will go live in the Facebook group to go in more detail, but trust me, you're going to want to hear from Kevin. So really super quick, I'm going to share my screen only for a second. Dun 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 dun, boom boom. I'm such a geek, but I do love the Rocky theme. Okay, Kevin Kauffman, you guys. So he is the bad boy of real estate. I am kind of thinking of myself as the bad girl because I refuse to do what I'm told. Kevin is definitely the bad boy. He does real estate his way, you guys. Now take a look and absorb this screen. He just was interviewed live to talk about how his group sold 552 units for over 150 million in sales volume. You guys, we're all thrilled to close like 30, 50 listings this year. Like who would do double backflips and take out an ad in the local paper if they closed 50 listings this year? Okay. I know. Yeah. Everybody. Right. And Kevin's like, hold my beer. Let's add a 0 to that number. So with no further await, guys, I'm going to kill my screen share. Let's bring Kevin on. Woohoo! And
Kevin,
how's it going, everybody?
doing awesome. Great to see you again.
Awesome. Thank you.
Awesome.
And-
Can we spotlight him really quick, guys? Sorry, Kim, we just want to make sure you're front and center.
All good. All good. You tell me, I'm ready. I'm ready when you are. So, by the way, I love that. Yeah, I'm so happy to be here and share what little I can that hopefully will help somebody move the needle a little bit. What I'm going to share today, definitely move the needle for me, both in my personal production. And as you pointed out, selling, it doesn't matter how many houses, 100, 200, 300, 500, 1,000, all of that is dependent upon leverage, which I know we're not talking about today. We're going to talk about how do I become more effective with my time, and anything that we learn to do that, we can then move over and hopefully teach to others if we ever want to expand out beyond ourselves, right? So people will often ask, like, how do I sell 500 houses or 1,000 houses? I've never done 1,000, by the way. But it's really all about leverage, right? At the end of the day. But you can't just have people. You actually have to know what to do. And one of those things, and kind of knowing what to do, if you will, or something that moved the needle for me, was what I'm going to share with you guys today, which is effectively a hack. This is when I learned this. This made going on the listing appointment so much more effective, and more importantly, for like my ADD mindset and attention span, made it shorter. And I like that. Like, I don't know about you guys, raise your hand, either not on Zoom, but like you put your hand up. Have you ever been on a listing appointment that took more than an hour?
Oh.
Okay, so almost everybody, and I know some people, like, their average was like 2 or 3 hours, and that sounds like hell to me personally. I can't stand it. Like, as much as I love people, I want to get in and I want to get out, and I want to do it the most effective way possible. And so doing what I'm going to share with you today, which is very truthfully basic and foundation when it comes to listing homes, it allowed me to do those things, to be effective, and to not to have to sit in that house for 2 or 3 hours, right? And so one of the ways I did that was the day before my appointment, is I just took an extra 10 minutes and I made an extra phone call. So I'm going to share with you guys kind of that and how I walk through that. And then depending on if we have some time left, Belladonna, I don't know, do we have time for Q&A afterwards? Because this part will only take like a couple minutes. But I'll share with you my script, if you will, that I use for doing this. So,
oh, that's awesome.
Here's the worst part, by the way, guys. So I've got this real estate coach. He's literally been my real estate coach since January of 2011. I'll let you do the math on that. He's been my real estate coach since January of 2011. And probably in our second or third call, he emailed what I'm about to share with you over to myself and Fred. And so we'll call that spring, March or April, whatever, of 2011. Sometime in 2013 or 14, I realized that I was not that good at taking listings that weren't short sales. And he reminded me of this thing that he tried to teach me a couple of years before. And we're like, can you send it to me? And like any good coach, he's like, yeah, absolutely. He just forwarded me the same email, he had sent me years before. And it turned out to be the most impactful and most effective thing in doing what I was looking for, which is converting more of my listing appointments at a higher rate and in a much smaller amount of time. So not only did I take this to use this to make my personal production go up, or more importantly, my personal effectiveness. So if I went on 10 appointments instead of getting 3, which I was getting like 3 at a time, when it came to traditional listings, I started getting 6, 7, and 8, right? And this is the thing that I credit with most of that difference, right? And so I'm going to share this with you here in one moment, and just know that this is going to sound simple. And this is also what I found the easiest thing to skip. Because I've taught this to every agent I've hired since, and most of them do not do it. And also most of them, when they do it, they tell me how much better it made the appointment the next day. So like, we all have that, right? So this is that thing. This may not be the thing for you. You may decide that you don't want to, because there's some uncomfortable questions that you have to ask, and that's okay. This is only for you if you want to get more effective, take more listings in a shorter period, and not spend an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours at the listing appointment. So I'm going to just go through these questions with you guys. And then what I will do is I will give Belladonna a copy of this, and she can share it out to anybody who might want a copy of it. So the way I've got it written out. So I literally have this piece of paper. It's called Qualify the Listing Appointment. And I quite literally would print out a stack of them and leave them on my desk. because I didn't even want to open my CRM. I wanted everything closed except for my phone and my pen and piece of paper and this piece of paper where I'm going to ask these questions. And so what I would say, and I'm going to give you guys the way it's written. And then I'm also going to tell you, sometimes you just have to use your intelligence to know, like, I got to tweak this question a little bit, because oftentimes, like the way this is written, it might sound like it's the first call. But sometimes a lead would come in, I would secure the appointment. And this is the way, like, perfect setup for me. Lead comes in, I secure the appointment, and then I set it up with saying, hey, Belladonna, I'm so glad that you called today, or I called you, however we connected, right? I'm going to fill that in. And I'm going to say, if you're okay with it, I'm going to go do some homework. And then I'm going to call you back before our appointment that we just set for Thursday morning. And just to help me fill in the blanks, so that way I can be the most prepared possible when I come to your home. Is that good? Yeah. Okay, great. So I'm going to get her permission. I'm going to call her back. And so I'm going to go do a little bit of homework. And the day before, I really want to do this the day before, if at all possible, not the day of, not 2 or 3 days before, day before. I'm going to call back and I'm going to just literally, hey, Belladonna, really quickly. And on this piece of paper, by the way, I'm going to have the person's name, their phone number, their email address, property address, because I might be asking these questions when the lead came in, depending on the lead source. I'm going to say, hey, Belladonna, before I come out to meet with you, there's a few questions I'd like to ask so I can be better prepared. Sound good? Okay, great. So now tell me again, Belladonna, where are you moving to? And no matter what her answer is, I'm going to say, good for you. I'm going to be quiet and I'm going to let her answer. Good for you. Now, she may not be moving somewhere. She could be selling an investment property. So I may tweak that a little bit. Again, some of this we're just going to have to learn to tweak based on what we already know. So assuming she's moving, my next question is going to be, how soon do you have to be there? Then I'm going to shut up. It's really important after you ask a question to shut up. What I did to teach myself, especially I did this a lot during negotiating short sales too. Once I knew I needed to be quiet, I literally would press the mute button on my phone, because I have this need to not be uncomfortable and break the silence. And so I would just mute myself as a way to protect against my own behavior. So yeah, someone said this sounds like Mike Ferry. I'm sure this was Mike Ferry. It started there. And then someone from KW ripped it off where I was at when I got it. And then it got changed. And I bet if you go find the original Mike Ferry script, this is probably 99% exactly the way it was written originally. Because then I would say, okay, how soon do you have to be there? Excellent. Now here's the reason why this question is so damn important. Because I believe when determines why, or I should say why determines when. And so these first two questions about why, where are you moving to? Now, how soon do you have to be there? If once they answer that, how soon, they start to open up about why they're doing something. And truthfully, why is the real answer that we're looking for. It doesn't matter if it's like next month, next week, or next year. Why is really the thing that determines what they're doing. So this is that kind of first bit of information that we can get in there and start to discover this. So no matter what their answer is, I would always say excellent or great, something like that. And this question sounds so stupid, but was so powerful. The first time, by the way, I used the script, 20 times before I was brave enough to answer this next question. And the first time I did, I was like, oh my God, this was like cheating. It was magic. I just said, hey, let me ask you, if I happen to sell your property in the next 30 days, would that pose a problem for you? And I know that sounds really weird, especially like in this market, because like, yeah, you better sell it in the next 30 days. So you could say next 7 days if you want. Right. But at the end of the day, what I'm doing is I'm letting them know, like, I'm not wasting time, and I make it sound like I just don't want to cause them an inconvenience by being too good at my job. Because psychologically, that's what they're hearing. Okay. So would it pose a problem for you? If I sold it for you in the next 30 days, and then here's the switch. What would happen if the property did not sell? Now we start to find out, we're really going to start to get in on their motivation. Is like the motivation high? Financially, do they have to sell it? I would say my next question would be, when I come out and meet with you, how much do you want to list your house for? Realistically, like, what's the price you won't go below? And this is even harder to shut up, because they don't want to answer that question either. Some people have a number in their head already and they don't want to tell you, but their response will be, I don't know, you're the expert. You tell me. Why, that's your job. I'm like, so I would literally just reiterate, I understand that. but how much realistically, like what's the price you're just not going below? Or if I brought you an offer, you'd say, walk away and feel good about walking away. I'd say, okay, great. Whatever their answer was, even if their answer was like sky high, like their answer could be 350 and their house is worth 275. I'd be like, okay, great. But now I know that they might be smoking something and unrealistic. So this is good. This is actually good information to have. Then I would say, okay, how much approximately do you owe on the property? Now, assuming that they have equity, great, good for you. If they don't, I could just easily go, okay, got it. And then I would say this question again. Now it's kind of going back to that one of the questions I asked earlier. It's a different way of asking really the same question. How soon can we start bringing buyers through your house? And what I'm doing is I'm implying that I'm going to get the buyers to walk through their house. I'm already walking them through a future where they've hired me. And so now again, I'm also reiterating a timeline. And then I'll say, you quickly describe your house for me. And I just listen to whatever they say, take some notes. This one's fun. These two questions, or I should say these three, the one I just asked about, quickly describe it. And then these next two, how would you rate your property on a scale of 1 to 10? Whatever number they give me, say they 7. Great. What would make it a 10? Now I know what do I need to use when we're talking about listing price on the listing appointment, right? Now I know. And then is there anything positive or negative about your house that could affect the price? Again, getting more information here. This next question, you guys, all of this is helping me when I'm at the listing appointment. There's the only reason I'm doing this to either cancel my listing appointment or to make sure I have all the info I need to sign the listing if I want it. Next question I'm going to ask, and this is a hard one for most people to ask, is do you plan to interview more than one agent? I didn't like this question prior to having this script. Why? Because I got my ass kicked when I went on. I was getting like 3 out of 10. I could get the appointment, couldn't sign the traditional listing. However, what I learned, once I learned to integrate this with some better scripts during the listing consultation, what I figured out is I love this question because now I just want to know, because here's the deal. I can make the numbers work for me no matter what. I'm better than the other agents. I already know that. So I just want to be prepared because I don't want to show up the next day at that appointment and have them go, well, I still have to go interview Susie and Johnny. So I want to know now if I'm competing. Part of that reason is too, is I want to make sure I go first, but we'll get to that later if we have time. All right. So do you plan to interview more than one agent? Who might they be? And when are those interviews set for? So easy. I just want to know, do I have competition? Do I need to change my time? Because I'd be like, okay, great. You know what? I just found out I have an opening later this afternoon at 4. Like if the other two are tomorrow before me, would that be better? Why don't we move that up? So who might they be? When are those interviews set up for? Then the next question is, I've only talked to you and I've been bit by not asking this question. Are there any other decision makers? Like you got to know, like who's the decision maker? Is if the husband is the only one you've talked to, but truthfully, he's not the decision maker, or it's a joint decision, or the other way around. Like you got to know. You cannot have an appointment without all decision makers present. It's not a good use of time. So I want to know. And then the next question is, will they be there when I arrive? Because if I'm talking to Belladonna and she says, well, yeah, my husband is a decision maker in this too. I said, great. Is he going to be there when I arrive? And if she says no, I say, you know what? Why don't we do this then? When would be a good time when you can both be available? Because what I found is it's better to have both decision makers, saves us both time. So what would be a better time where he can actually be available as well? So I'm going to ask that question. Again, I'm asking a lot of uncomfortable questions. And because I'm describing it to you, it's just taking a longer time. This phone call doesn't have to be more than 5 to 10 minutes. Then I would say, okay, let me ask you this. When we come out and meet with you on Thursday, if what we say makes sense for you and you feel confident and comfortable with our program and you like us and we like you, I'm letting them know that I'm also qualifying them. Are you prepared to list your house with us when I meet with you? I want to let them know now that I'm expecting a decision on the spot. Here's something I had to teach myself and then have taught to everybody else in my team ever since, which is if you leave a listing appointment without a signed listing agreement, you did not get the listing. I'm not saying some of them won't call you back and say yes. the percentage chances of it happening are so low that you got to get over the not asking enough. Like you got to know. So like, I'm just prepping them. I'm prepping them because the next day I'm going to ask until they say yes or kick me out of their house, basically. So I want to know, are they going to be prepared? Because if they're not going to be prepared to meet with me, I'm just like, now I've got to think about all the other answers they just gave me. And is this an appointment I really want to go on? And my next question, super important, because this allows me to find their hot button. What specifically do you need to see, if anything, to help you make the decision to list your house with me when we meet tomorrow? Like, what's important to them? Whatever it is, I want to know now, because I'm going to come prepped for that. Then I would say, do you have any other questions before we arrive? And this is the other one that I like to do. Hey, if I sent you a marketing package, or what I would call a seller guide that tells you about our marketing, our advertising, my track record, things like that, would you have time to review that before I get there tomorrow? And the reason I'm doing this is twofold. Number one, when I do a listing consultation, it's a consultation, not a presentation. I'm not saying you have to do the same thing. That's the way I operate. I don't like to present and show the flashy stuff. So I had to find a way to do that, which is send it ahead of time that talked about all the great ways I advertise. So this would do the kind of bragging for me, if you will. And also what I believe is this allowed me to make them another promise and then deliver on it. So I'm already letting them know that I'm the type of person that does what they say that they'll do. So I'm going to send you a package. By the way, that could be digitally or physical. Will you have time to review it? And I'm going to send it out to them. I might email it. Again, I might have it dropped off, might have it couriered. I might drop it off myself. Might have somebody on my team drop it off on the way home, whatever. But the point is, I'm making them a promise and I'm keeping it. And twofold, it's kind of it's doing all my bragging for me, because I don't like to sell like that. I like to sell based on a consultation. And then, great. Where can do you want me to send this to work, or should I send it to home? And then any additional notes? Like, that's it. Now I have all the information I need to, number one, cancel the appointment. Hey, they think it's worth $350. It's really worth $275. They're going to interview 7 agents. They owe $260 and it's only worth $275. Like, whatever they think they have the nicest house on the, whatever I want to use to like go, you know what, this isn't the listing appointment for me. I've got that information, or I've got everything I need to do what I got to do the next day at the appointment, which is make sure I get that listing agreement signed. Because I know that if I leave that house without a signed listing agreement, I'm counting it as a loss. Even though like 1 out of 10 will call me back and still list with me, I'm counting it as a loss. And so I'm going to do everything I can in my power the next day to say what I have to say and to consult with them and ask at least 5, if not 6 times for them to sign the listing agreement.
Hey, Kevin, can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
So I had the same scenario. I was at the listing appointment and everything went well. I didn't know that he was already interviewing a couple of agents. I thought I was the first one. And it was a luxury listing, so I was well prepared. He said he likes me, but he does not want to list because he said he's going to make his decision by next month. And then he said that another agent was willing to list the property for 2%, which is very rare in our market. Nobody takes the listing at 2%. So he said, would you be willing to take it at 2%? I can go with you. I said, I would never, ever go below 5%. That is the minimum I would go for. So he said, think about it and let me know. So since then, I have not communicated, but I know there are realtors who are doing it in this market because the properties are flying very fast. So how do we deal with this situation? He said he likes me. As long as I take the listing at 2%, he would list with me.
You deal with the situation by having the uncomfortable conversation before you go to the appointment.
Okay.
That's why I ask these questions, because when that should have come up on my phone call the day before. And now I can decide ahead of time when I'm going in, is this somebody I'm willing to work with? Guys, again, I'm using this to decide whether or not I want to work with them, just like they're going to have to decide if they want to work with me. I don't want every single listing that I can get.
They are going to interview a couple of more agents and they're not going to make the decision when I arrive there. So should I postpone my listing appointment? I don't want to waste my time driving and coming back and then 1 hour there.
you haven't given me enough information to give you an answer to that. It matters so much more about what's going on. You've got to know what's their motivation, what's their timeline. So like, why are they selling? Can you get them to make a decision? Is price, meaning like your commission, the only thing that matters to them? Like, you know, there's just so many other things that you've got to know before I could give you an answer to that. Cause it's not, by the way, sometimes maybe taking the listing at 5 or 4% or 4.5%, like maybe that is the right thing for you. But if you ask these questions ahead of time, now you have time to think about it, and you don't have to be like on your heels when they like, you don't have to get surprised in person at the appointment. You don't want to ever be surprised at the appointment. You want to have the information ahead of time. So that way, if you choose to go on the appointment, you already know what the battle is. You already know where you got to fight.
Okay. Okay, because I have another listing appointment coming up, and I already had these 2 experiences where, you know, they didn't make the decision. So another one is in March, and that guy said that, you know, I'm interviewing more agents, but I'm not going to make decision before April. And I have a listing appointment in March, so I don't know how to pre-qualify him and say that when I come out there and if things make sense, the pricing makes sense, and the, you know, commission makes sense, and I show you what I have done for my past clients, would you be able to list with me the same day when I arrive there? So should I pre-qualify and go over with the questions that you gave me?
I would never go on another listing appointment again without asking these questions. Never.
So if they say they're not going to make the decision right away, then what should be the approach?
I have a strategy for that.
Yeah, it's totally dependent upon all of the other, like, there's so many things that go into why you may or may not still take that listing or still go on that appointment. But you can't, it's not on just one thing like time frame or just one thing like at the end of the day, the most important thing is their motivation to sell. At the end of the day, that's finding that out is the most important thing. And when you ask these questions, this allows you to do that, as well as to find out like, hey, they're going to interview other agents. By the way, that's cool. I love it that even if they tell me they're going to interview other agents, I have no problem. Now I just want to go first because I know how at that listing appointment to cancel those appointments for them. In fact, nothing is more fun to do than to cancel another agent's listing appointment. And when you get good at pre-qualifying the listing appointment and you get good at your listing consultation, you can actually cancel the other appointments. And it's not even that hard. It actually becomes really easy because you start to believe in what your process is. And if you actually believe that you are the best person for them and you can take them through a series of questions to help them discover that as well, getting rid of the competition is so easy and so much more fun.
Yeah, maybe I have to ask more pre-qualifying questions, I guess. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can I say one thing, Kevin, about,
Yes.
So I was so hesitant to use a pre-qual script, and some of the questions made me want to throw up. And I think you might have one on there too. I always ask them what they owe on the home. What do you owe on the property currently? Do you have any other liens? And, but what I found when I finally got over just being a total wuss and I started doing it, oh my God, it was like amazing. But I was like this, oh, you're meeting other agents. Chung, chung. Oh, you got a commission objection. Chung, chung. Oh, I'm going to have to do this. Chung, chung. And I come like loaded for bear to that listing appointment.
Yep.
And like, I don't need to know how to handle every commission, but if I know that somebody is shopping for a good deal, I got my commission objection handlers like locked and loaded. Or if I know they're interviewing other agents, I've got those objections locked and loaded, whatever it is. Like they're going to list with a friend. I got that one. You know what I mean? It lets you like prepare at a whole nother level.
And it's so much better to prepare not in the moment. Right? It's better to prepare. It's why like people go off to the military. They literally don't just send them to war tomorrow. They go through massive training, right? You got to go through boot camp and you've got to go through all these scenarios, right? And should they become like, say, a Navy SEAL or go on be an Army Marine, there's even more levels of preparation. And the reason why is when you got to prepare in a more controlled environment, because that way you know what to expect and you can look at the different possibilities that are coming at you. So when you do that ahead of time, when you show up and the objection shows up, you're like, whatever. I was already ready for this. Like, it's like, again, it's like a cheat code. It's like if you're in a boxing match and you know the other person is going to throw a right hook, it's really easy to block the right hook because you already know it's coming. Or if you're a batter and there's a curveball coming, you know how to swing at a curveball versus a fastball down the middle of the plate. They're completely different. And yet they're both totally manageable if you know what's coming. That's why the Astros won the World Series. They cheated. They knew what pitch was coming. That's just because I'm a bitter Dodgers fan, but it's also the truth. When you know what's coming, it's so much easier to be prepared as opposed to letting something catch you. When it catches you off guard, now you're on your heels and you're reeling. Like, that's so hard to recover from. I got like 3.5 more minutes. Anything else we should do, Belladonna?
Hey, that's awesome. So I have just been typing and kind of answering questions as they're coming up in the chat. Rob was asking, should they still do all these pre-qual questions with family and friends?
Heck, even more so with family and friends.
Right.
Guys, trust your family and friends. It's so easy to let your guard down. 100% more so with family and friends. Make sure you ask these questions specifically. And by the way, if it makes you feel better, just say, hey, Belladonna, like I know we're tight personally, or like you're my cousin. But here's the thing. I don't want to take that for granted. I really am a professional and I want to do the best possible job for you. So I'm going to ask you some questions. Like, they may sound a little weird because we know each other so well. Just know that this is me doing my research and my homework so I can serve you best and give you the best possible experience and not forget about something because we're so close. Is that fair? Who's going to say no to that? If someone says no to that, you don't want, refer them out. Like, you don't want that listing anyways.
I have a
Go ahead, whoever that was.
It's Joan. Years ago, I tried this. I don't know that it really worked well, but when someone asked me to reduce my commission after I showed them everything I was going to be doing, I showed them the paper and said, okay, which of these items here that I'm going to be doing would you like to delete and not have me do?
Yeah, so you knew that script, right? That's a great, by the way, I've used that same script myself. And knowing that script ahead of time, it's so much easier to say that in that appointment in real time if you already knew that might be an objection and you knew what to say. So that just makes life easier. So yes, 100%.
So to play off her question, if I may, so when you're having that listing appointment and they do say to reduce the commission, etc., you do bring up a list of like, these are some projected costs that we're looking to anticipate as I market this. Like, just to give an example, a friend of mine hired a hot dog stand for a large luxury listing. And she's like, basically the same concept would come up, like, are you willing to pay for that yourself? In a nicer way, of course, but like, these are some expenses that I hadn't planned to help market your listing for an open house that we're doing. What would you like me to cut out, or what are you looking to pay for yourself?
Yeah, so that's another way, absolutely, of doing that. And I've certainly done that. And the way I would start off with that is, and this unfortunately the last question because I've got to go. I would say, so did you get a chance? Like, Connor, you looked at that marketing package I sent over yesterday, right?
Supposed to talk, yes.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So knowing that, so seeing all the stuff that we do there, what part of it is maybe what could we delete out of that marketing part, the part that you saw where everything we do for your listing? Which one would you like to delete? I'm totally cool with that. That would be one way of handling it. By the way, there's a ton of other ways to handle it, right? I could say, I totally understand where you're coming from, and tell me more about that, right? Anytime, that's like one of my favorite scripts is tell me more, because in Somebody Access, it like helps you get to the heart of it. But there's probably, if you just Google like commission objection scripts, there's probably 100 of them out there. And if you just know 3 or 4 really well, you're good to go. Like, you're going to be able to overcome any objection, no matter how they say it. Just be prepared for it ahead of time.
Okay.
All right. Good to go, Belladonna?
That was awesome, man. Awesome. That, and you had some questions on your pre-qual script that were just genius that I didn't have on mine. And my old script was the Mike Ferry script because I coached with Mike Ferry for like 10 years.
I'm pretty sure this is like an adaptation of Mike's, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, almost every script is.
I know, because he was like the original script guy, but you had some killer questions on there. So yes, please send us your script.
So I texted it to you because I can do that from my computer, but I can also put it in our chat too later on.
Okay. That is freaking awesome, man. Thank you. And I'll just say it because it came up in the chat and I don't know if people are shy of asking. We had a couple of people ask if you'd share your listing language too.
So it's really just a couple of questions. It's not actually a whole lot of others. So if you remind me later, Belladonna, I will get you that because it's
awesome.
Just like 4 or 5 questions.
That's perfect because you've covered 90% of the questions on the prequel. So there's not much to do with the presentation. Other than nail it down.
Not a whole lot at all.
Dude, you are such a badass.
Just a quick question.
I got to run, but Belladonna can pass the question on to me. Sorry, guys. I have a meeting I'm already 2 minutes late for.
Oh,
Thank you so much, Fred.
Thank you so much, Kevin.
Thank you so much.
Hi, guys.
Oh, I said Fred, Kevin, Jesus.
Yeah, it's all the same. All the same. My mom still calls me by my brother's name.
Okay, you guys, I constantly call Kevin and Fred by each other's name, and it's like a running joke with us now. Okay, so you guys, who got massive value out of that prequel script? Everybody? Was that the bomb?
For sure.
Okay. Now, who here?
Cool. It's done the day before.
Yes.
No wonder it's in and out on the listing presentation. Love it.
So who here had some questions that they're like, I'm scared?
Please be, I promise. Please let me.
Hey, Bella, I'm not scared. I'll just ask it because, can't learn without asking.
Because Sue looks like she's just gentle and whatever. She's actually kind of a tough badass. Like she's pretty fearless.
I just kind of learned that, you can't learn without asking. So if I make a fool of myself, great. So I have worked with various listing packets that, you send to them prior, and he talked about that. And I'm interested to know what has changed because it's been, 8 or 9 months since I've been doing it. What do you recommend in a listing packet?
For a listing packet. So I have some basic stuff, guys. So first and foremost, I don't care if you're a single agent, you have a team. Even if you're a solo agent, you have a team and you are a team. So you've got an escrow officer that you use, correct? You've got a lender that you use, right? You've probably got a home inspector that you use, right? You've got a broker at your brokerage who backs you up if you need help, right? That's your team, including you. You now have 5 people on your team. Okay. So, and if you're like, well, it's a listing, why is a home inspector on my team? Do you think there would be real value sometimes, depending on the listing, to have your seller do a pre-listing home inspection?
Yes.
So of course. So therefore it makes sense to have a home inspector on your team. Your title company, your escrow officer, they're on your team. Okay. So 1 page of my listing presentation is a little bit about my team. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. All these people. And I'll have a little bit about them. I'll have a picture of them, their name, their title, and 1 or 2 sentences about their experience, especially if they've been in the business a long time. Okay. Right. Because everybody likes that. So you'll have your broker, you'll have your home inspector, your escrow officer, and your loan officer. And if you're like, loan officer, why do I need a loan officer for listings? Well, 1, do most sellers go buy something else? Most of the time. Yes. So they need a loan officer.
Home warranty.
Oh, home warranty. Thank you, Tamra. Home warranty goes on your team. Thank you. So now you have 6 people on your team.
What about your photographer that's going to be coming through their home?
Yes, if you use the same photographer every time. Brilliant, Sue. Brilliant. And Tamra said home warranty. And Tamra, feel free to go in there and spotlight yourself too. So it pulls us both up on the screen. So guys, my home warranty company, Alliance, does a 100% free listing coverage home warranty. My very first listing I ever took as a real estate agent. And by the way, guys, I took my first listing about 12 I took my first listing about 18 hours after having my real estate license, and it was a for sale by owner. Okay. Cause I was not fooling around. I needed to make money. And on that listing, I put a home warranty on the listing, which is free to the seller, free. And their refrigerator broke, and it was an expensive side by side with an ice maker in the door. And the home warranty replaced the refrigerator, and it only cost them $60. Did they think I was like a superhero rock star? Yes. I've had furnaces break during the listing period.
I had one on my very first listing. That exact thing happened. Here we are, dead of winter. We are just handing over the keys to the new buyer, and the furnace goes out. They get there, they get in, and they have no heat. And there's pipes frozen because the furnace has gone out. Luckily, we had the home warranty on there. They came in, they fixed the furnace. I mean, and it was like $60 for the new buyers or for the sellers to have it all taken care of. So when they handed over to the buyer had a brand new furnace on top of no frozen pipes.
Yeah, like, it's amazing. And guys,
and you're a rock star when it happens.
It's every single one of you, every one of you should be putting a home warranty on your listing the day you take the listing, totally free. So Tracy Lee, just about most home warranty companies offer listing coverage. Now my company is Alliance. They're based out of Utah. Depending on what state you're in, you just need to call a couple of home warranty companies till you find one that offers it. And like, I won't work with a home warranty company that doesn't, because I'm a listing agent primarily, right? So that's my gig. So first thing you're going to have, it is still being recorded, guys. So don't worry if you need to bounce. This is just like extra credit, right? Okay. So you're going to have you're going to have a cover page, and then your first page is going to be my team. Okay. And you're going to have, so now we had what, 6 or 7 people on the team. Okay. And
Hey, Bella.
Yes.
What about comps? Do you include comps?
Okay. So that's not a listing package. That's a CMA. So no, I don't put comps in my listing package. Contrary to what Mike Ferry says. I don't.
Donna, can I ask you a question before we get too far? I don't mean to interrupt. I'm sorry.
No. This is a free for all. Interrupt
okay,
away.
Sounds good. When we were talking about creating scarcity and competition, I just wanted to compare it to what Kevin was saying. So when we're talking about like making sure that we tell them, hey, look, we're going to list this on Monday, right? And we're going to get as much exposure as possible. And you're trying to tell them, hey, look, we're going to do this between 2 and 4 on Saturday, and giving them kind of the lowdown of this is how it's going to work.
Yes.
If they have an objection, because sometimes sellers can be picky, and I have one right now who tends to be that specific character.
Sure.
What's a good way of overcoming that objection of saying, look, I can understand your apprehensions and wanting to make sure you get as much exposure as possible, but this 4-hour period, I promise you will guarantee so much more than the whole week of having showings will, and much less grief to you.
So at the end of the day, now do you go by Nate or Nathan?
Oh, it doesn't matter. Either or.
So by the end of the day, Nathan, it's always the seller's call. If the seller doesn't want, if they are like, hey, I appreciate the strategy, but I'm more comfortable just having a free for all week, let them have it. Let them have it. I would, however, walk them through the strategy. I would help them understand the power of it and the benefit to them. But at the end of the day, it's their call. So I'm okay if they don't want to do it.
Makes sense.
But I'm definitely.
And I figured as much. I just wanted to make sure that I obviously want to maximize their dollar value. I just wasn't sure if there was some strategy or way to make sure that, well, not make sure, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. And this also, guys, for people who are still a little bit COVID shy, this is great, right? Great. Because they only have to open up their house to the public on 2 days for 2 hours, and that's it. Much easier to keep everything neat and clean and all that good stuff. So to come back around to the listing package. So I'm going to have a page with my team, and it might have multiple people. My team might be 7 or 8 people, might be a 2-page thing of my team. So right out of the gate, how much like certainty does that create with the seller? Right? They're like, whoa.
Well, and it's interesting if for me, they always ask, are you, do you have a team? That always seems to come up. The seller's curious if they're working just with a solo agent or if they're working with an entire team. because sometimes they feel that if they have a team of agents, their house will get sold faster.
So from now on, I would say every single one of you should be marketing yourselves as a team, the Rob Wright team, the Jana Nelson team, right? Because you do, and it's not disingenuous, you guys, you have a team and they back you up, right? Because I work with the same people every time, guys. I use the same LO every time, home inspector every time, a title every time. I get pissed when I have to use somebody who's not on my team because they are battle tested. Guys, do you think I fire people pretty easy? Yeah, I will fire your ass if you do not take great care of my clients. So my team they are vetted, tested, and they are awesome. They're awesome, right? So I can trust them. We link arms like a freaking Navy SEAL squad to get something through escrow. You hear me? We don't point fingers. We don't fuss and fight with each other. We're like, we got each other's back and we freaking power through. And
there's no I in team.
No. So my team will make the difference between your home making it to the closing table and not, probably 30% of the time, you know? So then the next thing in a pre-listing package is I'm definitely going to have my marketing. Okay. So I'm going to have basically an itemized list of all the things that I do to market a property. And then I'm going to have a second sheet that is a graphic, a big graphic that shows like their house in the center and then all the websites that their house gets sent to, syndicated to. Now, if you don't have that graphic, go to Google and I want you to Google MLS syndication and Google the word List Hub. I'm going to type it in here. List Hub. I misspelled it. Okay, there we go. List Hub. List Hub is the software that handles most MLS's syndication. And they have these awesome graphics that you can download for free. Put that in your listing package. Now, if there's anything else that you do, okay. I always have a staging guide in my listing package. My staging guide, mine is a staging guide and checklist. You guys are getting it for free, right? As I think the staging guide comes out on day 5. You're getting my staging guide and checklist for free as one of our listing toolkit pieces. It's built in Canva. It's 100%. It's a template and you can customize it any way you want. You don't like my colors? Change them. The house is really beautiful, but it kind of looks like Florida. So if that doesn't work for your marketplace, change it. Put your picture, put your contact info. But you guys, it'll take you like 5 minutes to customize this template. And it's a 5-page how to stage your home checklist so they can actually use it as they're going through their home, right?
And where is it again, Bella?
You're not getting it until day 5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So day
well,
5.
I heard something about day 5.
And then, now the other thing with this staging checklist, I have an entire page of all the things to not do because you will not get your money back. You will not. So don't do that shit. Okay. Like we were joking on the first day. I'm like, don't do that shit. Like, the money that you spend will not be recovered in the sales price of the home. So don't do it. Okay. Save yourself the brain damage and the credit card bills. So that's also in my staging checklist. That also goes in my pre-listing package. Referrals from past clients go in my pre-listing package. I have a little mission statement that's like really short. That goes in my pre-listing package. And I have an easy exit guarantee that goes in my pre-listing package. And it basically just says, if at any point during listing this property, before we receive our first offer, the minute we've received an offer, all bets are off. You're stuck with me, bitches. That's just how it is. Okay. Up until the point that we've received our first offer, if for any reason you're not happy with the service as we've promised, we will return your listing to you, no questions asked, and you will be free to relist your home with another agent. Like, done. Okay. Somebody comes in and undercuts me and they want to list with them. Oh, well, too bad. So sad. I lost that listing, but you know what? I'm not going to fuss and fight with a pain in the ass seller who's not a good match for me. If they want to go that bad, I'm going to let them go. But here's the thing, guys, it gives them peace of mind, right? Like, okay, that's actually kind of cool up until we receive the first offer. That's it. Once we start getting offers in, I've bloody well done my job. Okay. We're going to see it through to the end.
And that
Question, Belladonna,
Yeah.
real quick. What was the one after testimonials
Oh,
before the exit?
I was going so fast. What was it?
I thought it was,
Mission statement.
Yeah.
I have a
Mission
little-
statement.
Mission statement. Thank
I've
you.
got a little mission statement. It's pretty short and sweet. And there's something else. It's on the tip of my brain. What the bloody hell is it? Oh my God. It's menopause. It's eating my frontal lobe. I'm not afraid to tell you guys. I forgot. When I remember, I'll throw it in the group. But
where do we get the verbiage on this guarantee, Bella? So that it's
I'll track mine down. I'll track mine down and give it to you.
kind of, I mean, it sounds legal and binding, you know, and so I want it to look way professional.
Yeah, it is. It binds the brokerage too. Ah. So yeah.
What point do you introduce the CMA and talking, or do you not talk about that in your presentation with them?
Oh no, hell yes. Oh my God, the CMA is the whole thing. That's where I spend all my time. Okay. Cause they know all my other crap. And by the way, I pre-qual like a mofo. I'm ruthless on the pre-qual call. I went from scared to death to like, I don't care. I'm going to ask you like personal stuff. Okay. But guys, I got into this business when the market crashed. Okay. So like we had to get deep into the nitty gritty of their financials. Okay. And I had people tell me everything, cry on the pre-qual, tell me everything. They just open up, right? Once you get past that certain barrier and they feel comfortable with you, it's like you're their doctor and they just start telling you the answers to these questions. Okay.
And they tell you things you don't even want to know.
Yes, they do. They tell you all about their personal situation and all kinds of stuff. So on my team, I have a therapist. No, I'm just kidding. But okay, guys, I am irreverent. I am. And so I do tell my people that one of my jobs, I'm like, you might not realize this, but one of my jobs as your realtor is to get you through this entire process, not just happy, but sane, not on Prozac, and not have me having to bail you out. Okay. So we're going to do this together. And then they laugh and it breaks the ice. But, you know, sometimes deals are out of the side of our ability to control and shit just gets seriously sideways. And then halfway through they laugh and they're like, Bella, you weren't kidding. And I'm like, I told you, I'm in Utah, right? A lot of people here don't drink. So I'll joke on the phone and I'll say, here's one thing you're going to get. A prescription with exactly 3 Xanax or a bottle of your favorite booze, put it in the freezer. One time during this entire ordeal, you might call me and I will tell you, go pour yourself a drink, go to bed, call me in the morning. Or I'll say, go take a Xanax, go to sleep, call me in the morning. And by then I will have had it, I'll get it resolved, but you just don't stress about it. That's why you hire me. So I do, guys, that's just my style. I like to be a little funny and a little hard at the same time, right? You need to do your style. So, so when I'm at a listing presentation, I have pre-qualified the hell out of them. Okay. I know everything that's going on. Now I may do one last pre-qual. Okay. If, I do the CMA, so I've pre-qualified them and then I do the CMA. Typically that's the way I would do it. If I do the CMA and I'm like, whoa, they want 600,000 and this home is worth 4. I'm getting back on the phone. I'm going to be like, okay, I need to have a really honest conversation with you. Do I have your permission to just be completely candid? Help me understand, because this is what I'm seeing when I do the research. Where are you pulling your prices? What do you know that I don't know? Like I will hammer them on the price before I ever get to the appointment. If they're way out of range, like 100,000 over, right? Will generate a phone call because I'm not going to waste 3 hours arguing price with somebody who is like completely delusional. Okay. So, and then, I know what we're going to talk about either tomorrow or Thursday. I have 4 questions for a seller. 1 is not negotiable. The answer is yes, or I do not show up ever. I want 2 of the other 3 questions. If I don't get 2 out of 3, I don't go on the appointment. You guys want what those 4 questions are?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll give them to you on Thursday. Okay.
Okay. Hey, Bella, can you put a net sheet in?
I used to, but I don't anymore.
Because
I don't want to give them a reason to list with another agent just because they see that my commission's higher than some whore that's doing it for 1%. Did I say that? I'm sorry if anybody in here is listing for 1%. I apologize.
I've listed for 1%.
But stop doing that to yourself. Stop it. You're worth more than that. Charge what you're worth.
Oh, I totally have. It was for a favor. But we're all like, confession, you've been cheap.
I'm like, girl, quit selling your stuff cheap. At least be
No, it was an investor friend of mine. She was just in deep shit, and she asked if I'd do it.
You guys,
discounted.
that's totally different. Hell, I've done pro bono stuff for people, but you know what I mean? And guys, okay, we might have to do another day. You guys, there is no way I can get everything into your brains in 5 days. Okay. There's no way. I will drop more and more stuff in the Facebook group, but Tamra and I both, she's like my real estate sister. We worked full time as listing agents during the crash. Okay. If I could list for sale by owners, during the crash that were having to bring cash to close because they were upside down in their house and still pay me a 6% commission, you can God well damn do it in the strongest buyer market on planet Earth when they're getting 6 figures over their asking price. Do not tell me you cannot solve the commission objection, because I know you can. You just need the
Well,
language.
for one, it shouldn't be, commission should never be an issue. Because in all honesty, if you provide enough value on that appointment and they see just how much you're worth, it will never be questioned. It will never come up. You can charge 7 freaking %, 8%. It will never come up because they will see your value. First 4 listings I ever took, I took at 7%.
Dang.
Yeah.
And it was never an issue. I did short sales. I mean, I did short sales. I was only in business for maybe 2 years. The market crashed and it was like sink or swim. So I learned short sales inside and out. And even on a short sale, I was charging the seller an additional $750 to pay the attorney. So it didn't come out of my commission. And it was never an issue, even with all of the asset managers that I worked with. So commission doesn't have to be something that is always discussed in your appointments, because if you get in there, show them your worth, give your value, they will never, ever question how much money to pay you.
No, I never discuss commissions unless they bring it up. Here's how they find out about the commission. Okay, so great. All that's left to do, and guys, okay, we're going all around. I'm going to circle back around to where we started. My closes are very straightforward. I'm like, hey, is there anything else that you would expect from my real estate company to do for your property? No, there's not. Great. Is there anything else that maybe I didn't cover or forgot to cover that you would expect of me as your agent to sell your home? No, there's not. Awesome. Is there any reason why we can't get started tonight? No, there's not. Super. Here's the contract. Bam. And then we just go through it and they sign it and they're like, okay, this is what you charge. Yep. That's it. Do you reduce? Nope. Now, I say that tongue in cheek, guys. I have a bucket full of commission handlers for objection handlers for, will you reduce your commission? Because Tamra knows when we were in the thick of things, we were up against a flat fee company. Like, I know I see agents crying, oh, homie charges $2,500. What am I going to do? I don't know how to handle that. Shit, Intermountain Properties would list your home for $90. $90. This company would put you on the MLS. That was what we competed against. So I promise.
Oh, and there was the other one. There was another one that would come in and it was, and we have one agent in our market that does the 1%.
Yeah.
And so you go in there but they're only charging 1%. And I'm like, and just what do you think 1% is going to get you?
Lots.
What do you think that agent's going to do for you?
We should pick a day. Let's pick, because the commission handling one is a big one for a lot of people. Do you guys want to pick one day, maybe on Friday, where we handle, Yes. Anybody else where we just do commission handling after our guest speaker?
I'm
Me,
open any day.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. So we'll make sure that we carve out a day to handle the reduced commission objection, guys. And I have some that are funny. I have some that are really serious. I have some that are just a flat where I'm like, no. And I have some that are borderline, like people are like, oh my God, I can't believe you said that. Okay. So for the record, that one is like, this is your commission negotiable. And I say, yes, it is. It starts at 6% and it goes up from there. It depends on how much you annoy me. People are like, don't say that. And I'm like, you bet your ass I've said that.
Belladonna, I give him the fear after I've
You're laying there on the bed.
I know, I was listening to you, took it away.
What was that, Joan?
after I talk to someone and it's like I'm beating my head against the table or something, I just close my books and close up everything and kind of gather my stuff slowly while they're talking. I'm saying, I'm really sorry that I couldn't help you. I think you need me. And they start like, oh, well, wait. Just give them the fear of loss.
You know, what I love about that too, Joan, is if you really are not willing to reduce, it's not false scarcity, it's real.
Oh, definitely.
So it's, you have to know what you're worth, guys. Seriously, you may be underestimating how much value you bring to the table. And if you haven't had enough rough real estate deals in your career, that might be why you don't value what you do. But let me tell you something. When I get a seller through and it like sails through like silk, I earned my commission. Why do you think it sailed through like silk?
Right.
Okay? Because I'm a professional and I am serious about the property and every single thing that I do to get that property sold. It didn't happen by mistake that it went well, but
no,
a lot of
and they have to realize just how much you are worth. At the same time, you have to, when you go into the appointment, you don't have to take every damn appointment out there. There are sellers that you want to hand off to somebody else because you don't even want that nightmare. Or there's a personality conflict and you do not mix.
Which happens.
It does. I've handed off deals where I'm like, I would love to help this person, but we don't click. If we don't click, you know what? I'll take a referral for it. You handle it and I'll just take a referral at the end of the day.
Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. So, so we're 28 minutes over. Petra has a question. Biggest issue is actually getting seller leads. Lead gen. Yes, Petra, we're doing lead gen on day 5 by the master, Michael Reese. Michael Reese, who
Digital
is
president.
The author of Digital President, the owner of the NAEA, National Association of Expert Advisors, the co-owner of Kinder Reese Coaching, which is $25,000 a year if you want to coach with him. Badass agent, has listed and sold well over 5,000 homes. He's going to be giving us how to create a pipeline for seller leads for $0, and that's on Friday. So here's what we're going to do for you guys. Okay. Tomorrow, Tamra is going to be teaching on how to not get so distracted, right?
Yep. Going over distractions and how to keep yourself focused.
And then on Thursday, I'm going to teach the 4 questions you ask every single seller. Or they're not questions, forgive me. The 4 categories that a seller has to meet or I will not take their listing. And every time I've broken my rule, it's bitten me in the ass and that listing didn't sell. Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Are we going to cover like seller responsibility, like working with buyers and like that? I'm sure I'm not the only one that over this past year has experienced a lot of sellers not willing to take responsibility for the things that are going on at their properties because it's a seller's market. We'll just drop the contract. Sellers market.
And because they have so many other offers coming
exactly
in, somebody will take it.
So
exactly. So they're not taking full responsibility for their properties. How are you guys getting past that?
Okay, you mean where they're not willing to do repairs, like repairs?
Not just like I'm talking major repairs. Like they're thinking that buyers should have to take on their $30,000 shit foundation, you know, like just stuff like that, where it's like, no, we're not doing that. Like, and I mean, obviously that's what I'm doing. I'm just telling my clients, hey guys, it's time to say goodbye. Like we got to walk away.
So that's
You
my
know-
question. That's my question for you. Are you running into this mainly as a buyer agent or as a listing agent?
Buyer's agent, because,
Okay.
well, listing, I have control enough over my buyers and I have these real enough my sellers, that I have these conversations of, there are things that I'm willing to negotiate and there's things that I'm not. And
Okay, now-
when it comes to safety, I'm not negotiating. You need to take responsibility.
But here's the thing, you need to be very careful, very careful. And here's what I'm going to say. And sorry, I didn't do my hair today. So it's all like all fuzzy. I was putting cream. in my hair.
You look
I got,
beautiful.
Oh, thank you. I got a white girl afro that's getting started here. So it's true. You should see me in the morning. I look like Einstein and Buckley had a love child. I swear to you. And so it's the truth. So here's the thing. We have a fiduciary responsibility to our clients. And I've sat on the Salt Lake Board's grievance committee. I'm on my second year this go round. I sat on it for several years a little while back. So I've been on grievance committee for a long time, which covers nothing but people who violate the code of ethics, right? So here's the thing that you need to just keep in mind. One of our fiduciary responsibilities, fiduciary to the client, is obedience. We don't get to say, well, that's a safety issue, therefore I'm not going to do what you say. What we cannot do, what we're not obligated to do, is anything that's illegal. Okay. So so let me tell you the difference with that 30,000 shit foundation. The seller says, I'm not fixing that. I'm going to wait for a buyer that comes along who fixes it. Now, can we try, as one of our purposes of being a listing agent is to consult and share our knowledge with them, both market knowledge and industry knowledge. Now, is that bad foundation going anywhere? No. Is it going to crop up on the next one? Yes. Is it likely that sooner or later it's going to have to be addressed by you in some part? Yes. Can you have that conversation? Yes. Should you? Yes.
Yes.
Now, but can they say, I don't care, I'm not doing it? Then,
oh yeah.
Then you have to obey as part of your fiduciary duty. Now, let me give you a second scenario. They've got a rotten foundation. They say, I don't want to disclose it. Nope. Won't do that. We have to disclose. And so that is the legal obligation. That does not get amended. That doesn't get so we're like, hey, I know you might not want to, but state laws, we have to disclose what we know about the property. And furthermore, let me share with you why it's in your absolute best interest, not only to disclose that foundation, but every little thing that's ever happened to your house that you know about, even if you fixed it 10 years ago. Yes, the roof leaked and there's a new roof.
Because it gets you out of lawsuits when you do that.
That's it. So here's what I call them. I don't call them seller disclosure forms. I'm like, here, I need you to sign your get out of lawsuit jail free forms. And they're like, what? Yeah, this form will keep you out of lawsuits 99% of the time. So fill them out thoroughly. Okay.
Okay.
And now, guys, this is just me. I know lots of agents who don't do it. I don't care. The longest part of my listing appointment is sitting around while they fill out seller's disclosures. I don't leave until they fill them out with me, because 99% of the time they go, do I have to put this? I don't know what this means. This thing happened 18 years ago. Do I have to put that? What does this say? Like, I don't understand this question.
Okay.
I always leave with those. That's probably the longest part of my appointment, is getting the seller's disclosures and answering all of their questions.
Yeah. And so, because hands down, I've had seasoned sellers. They've sold like 5, 6 homes, whatever, still go, I'm not sure about this question. What's that mean?
Okay.
But to come back in regards to, being on the buyer side, and you're addressing the seller not handling those repairs. as a listing agent, I feel that, you know, you have to have that conversation with the buyer's agent so that they understand you are doing exactly what your seller has asked. So, and I think this is lost in this market because we don't have seller agent and buyer agent conversations. No one's working on the same team for the mutual goal of selling the property. You know,
I've seen that a lot too.
That's lost. I mean, and it's sad, but it's very true in the market here because there is no conversation. Nobody knows how to pick up the damn phone. They know how
There
to
are
text on
times
it, but they don't know
when-
how to answer it.
Oh, you're saying it because like you'll put an offer in and then it's like you're just trying to shoot a text or make communication that they received it. And even
Well, and the fun
that,
part is when you call, but they won't answer, but by God, they will text you back not 2 seconds later.
oh gosh.
It happens. Now, I will say, just to play devil's advocate, just to help understand what it's like to have the shoe on the other foot. If you're a listing agent, well, let's say you're a serious listing agent and you've got 3 listings, not that, which is not many, right? A serious listing agent.
But at one time, that's a lot of calls.
A serious listing agent will carry, 30 or 40 listings, but let's just say you have 3 and each one has 40 offers. You get to the point where you cannot talk to everybody. It gets really hard, but that does not mean that it's okay to not communicate. And this happened with short sale agents, right? They started doing giant amounts of communication in their agent remarks on the MLS because they literally, they could not.
They were like this long.
Yeah. You literally cannot respond.
Do you do that?
Tsunami of phone calls that are coming in. You know what I mean?
So when you're prepping your listings, so I've got one that's going to go live next week. And when you're doing that, do you, and it's going to be a hot one, do you just put a shit ton of details in those remarks to where you just put, hey, I may not be able to reply to everybody. Do you put that kind of stuff?
One thing I have learned and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. One thing I've learned is if I think about each of the questions that the agents are going to call and ask, I will put that in my agent remarks. So I've covered that base so I can answer those questions that I may not be able to get to because I have 50 other, calls coming in at the same time for the same property.
So then you could say, hey, look at my remarks.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, it's just a matter of, especially like right now where, they're wanting to know, what is it that your seller wants? These are the things. So I will actually, it'll be the longest agent remark section ever next to short sales. Yes. But, I will just answer those questions and refer them to look at the agent remarks before giving me a call.
And so she nailed it. So like let's say my seller absolutely needs a 60-day rent back. That's going to be in my agent remarks. If I'm going to do highest and best by a certain date, mind you have to have agent's permission, not only to do it, but to disclose it. Okay. Then I'm going to have that in my remarks, all the info about the property. And guys, here's the other thing. I put seller's disclosures, all HOA docs. That means CC&Rs, meeting minutes, and budget, all of them as attachments on the MLS. Because right now, buyers are writing offers where earnest money goes non-refundable upon acceptance. So they don't even get, guys, it kind of makes me want to throw up. I think it sucks. And I think it's opening the can for lawsuits downstream, but it is what it is. So if a buyer is going to go on the limb and write an offer on my property with non-refundable earnest money upon acceptance, I'm going to make sure. Now, whether their agent gave them gave it to their client or not, I can't control, but I will make seller's disclosures and all HOA documentation available from day one. They can just download it off the MLS because what if they change their mind because they found out that there was a big basement leak and they don't want it now? Or what if the HOA doesn't allow dogs over 50 pounds and they've got a St. Bernard? I don't know. You guys can kind of follow the logic here, right? So I'm going to give as much info to the buyer's agent as I possibly can, with the expectation that it will limit the amount of calls. Now, I personally will always put, please feel free to call me for any additional info, but see seller's remarks first. And so that's how I like to handle it. And I do call people back and I do text them back because that shit pisses me off, as well as full voicemails.
I actually put in 2 offers on homes that you had listed last year.
It's
and
crazy.
You did reply and you did text me back. And
oh, it's a good thing. You'd be like, Bella, you're a liar.
No, I actually knew that about you before I even joined this class. So
that's awesome. That's great. And you know, with a name like mine, people remember if I totally suck.
It's true. See, my name's Sade, and I have to live that same rule.
There are some agents out there. I'm not going to lie, Greg. You can think of one right now, can't you?
Oh yeah.
He thinks I'm an extortionist.
It's kind of funny. So, I mean, there's a buyer agent or listing agent that I reached out to this afternoon to go for a showing. And literally on his listing, it says, no calls, text only.
Oh, come on. You can.
And I called him, of course, he didn't answer, but he texted me. So it's like,
I'm sorry. You cannot
bad
negotiate
service.
a real estate transaction via text.
Well, you're not doing your sellers any justice by not answering your phone, by not communicating.
Some people,
honestly, you cannot get emotion through a text message. I don't care how many damn emojis you put in there.
Some people like the documentation, though.
It's kind of funny. My response.
My broker has asked us to text quite a bit under like text or email under some circumstances, so they could have it in writing, because a lot of with a lot of the money going non-refundable very quickly, it's getting a lot of agents into trouble because they're not communicating things, then going under contract, then their clients are not putting money in and things like that. And then there's such a lack of communication that our broker's requesting us to email and text as much as we can.
So let me weigh in on that. That is not a replacement for the phone call. So here's what you do. You have the phone call, and then guys, text is fine, but if it's important, it's email. You have the phone call, and then you send the email that is a recap of the call.
Ooh, okay.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So as we discussed earlier, thank you for the conversation, and then break down.
Here's what we discussed. Here's a recap.
I like that. I like that a lot.
So that's what you do. And then my paperless system called SkySlope holds all the emails as part of the transaction, which is awesome. And then and because you brought it up, I hadn't thought about it because it's buyer, not listing. However, the state of Utah, as far as I know, has not created any kind of notification or disclosure to the buyer of non-refundable earnest money. I wrote one. And so if anybody wants my copy of, now I'm not an attorney. You have your broker.
That was the first thing my husband just said.
You have your attorney look at it. You have your broker approve it. Okay. I'm not taking responsibility, but it is address specific. Okay. So every time you write an offer with non-refundable earnest money, they have to sign it all over again. Okay. Because what if you're writing 10 offers and you told them on offer 1 and they forgot on offer 10? So it could happen.
Okay.
Okay. So it's a property specific. It is acknowledging that earnest money goes non-refundable upon seller acceptance. And this is how I say it. If you choose not to close for any reason, your money will be forfeited to the seller. You're signing that you understand this, and you agree to hold the agent and the brokerage harmless in the event that your earnest money is released. Okay.
Did we get a copy of that?
You have a copy of it, my dear. It's in Basecamp.
Oh, okay.
Joan's like, damn it.
Belladonna?
Yeah.
Could I ask a different question?
Yeah, totally.
When I was doing my homework and going to Open Door and OfferPad. I noticed that OfferPad had a program. I know Coldwell Banker had this as well, where because there's so much equity that these sellers are getting in the sale of their home, they would front them X amount of dollars to replace carpets or to
That's awesome.
and do those kind of things. And I was wondering if EXP had something like that.
That's a really good question. EXP has an iBuyer program. It's called Buyer Express. And I'm ashamed to say, I don't know if they'll do that or not. I'm not sure. And so
it just seems like an extra something in your listing that, hey, we can front you this money if you don't have it up front. That you will.
But what's
bring
stopping you
back
from doing that?
at close.
What's stopping you from bringing that value to your own business? I do that for my clients.
We have it with EXP. We have it. It's called Curbio. It's not available in all zip codes, but it is available in many zip codes.
Oh my goodness. You are a wealth. And for people that don't know Noelle Kennedy, she is a badass. I'm just going to say.
Okay, Noelle, say that again.
Thank you very much.
So what is it called again?
It's called Curbio. It's CURBIO. It's available in a lot of states and a lot of zip codes, but it's not 100% across the US at this point.
It's probably in markets where it's a safer bet. That would be my guess.
Yeah.
Where the market's strong enough that it's a safe bet that the property will sell. And so guys, we're
this
like
isn't
way
associated
over.
this isn't associated with the Curbio isn't associated with the EXP.
It's an associated partner.
It is. Oh, cool.
And it's something relatively new since I want to believe the first of the year or so.
Oh, nice. So then I don't feel quite so bad about not knowing about
Yeah,
it.
it's a relatively new program.
Now I'm pulling my hair out. Yeah, I shed like a dog. Okay.
Bella, I
yes.
have a noon appointment. So
Yeah, and I was going to say we went way, way, way over. So, homework. My gosh, Judy was like, we forgot homework because we were so busy yapping.
let's do a live later, Bella, and we'll go into the group and hand out homework. How's that?
Okay, deal. So we'll get homework to you guys and we will see you for day 3.
Thank you, Bella. Thank you, everybody, for the training. Awesome. Say hi, Charlie.
Great training, Belladonna.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to both of you, all three of you. It was great. I'm going to redo my listing packet today.
Oh, that's awesome. Sue,
make it.
That's awesome.
Make it so great because that tells who you are. You got to be careful. Can't be sloppy anywhere, right?
That's right.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, ladies. I will see you in the morning.
Yeah.
Bella, I'm flying to Washington tomorrow. But I'll have my computer with me. So barring any unforeseen problems, I'll be back.
Okay, cool. And it'll get recorded too, Sue. So don't worry.
Well, I know how you'd love me to comment. So I hate for you to miss out on that.
Me too.
Anyway, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Hey, see you ladies. Bye, gentlemen. Bye.
Bye-bye.